Dear friends, welcome. You've done the right thing once again. Here you are on the Ko-Fi. And hopefully, we've got something really special for you because spooky season is upon us. Woo! And so I have asked our dear friend Ryan, the queen of Scream of Gibson's Bookstore and co-host of the Lay Down podcast, which gives you all the information on all your book things, to come here and share some of that insight with us and tell us about some of the books that we should be reading this spooky season if we want to give ourselves, a little bit of a scare this time. And we're not just talking about, new things, just anything that sort of, will get you in the mood. So, Ryan, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I always appreciate having you here, whether to snack or to regular Joag or whatever the case may be. And I'm looking forward to hearing about some book things. I'm kind of like, I've been trying to take more time to like sit and read physically lately.
Hmm.
So, the last um Gibson sale
Hmm.
a month or two ago, I guess in August,
Yep,
I
August.
bought like four books then. I had bought like four or five other books like a couple weeks before that. I've been making my way through them. And I think when it comes to October, when it comes to Halloween time, that's when I go back to being like a kid,
Hmm.
and you'd sit there with your Goosebumps or your Fear Street or, whatever horror book you could find, often, Stephen King, something that was like a little outside of your age range. And you would just like sit there and take in the vibe and read the books. And so I really want to do a bit more of that this October.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
I know that I think about this often that like you have such a great job because reading things actually plays into your work.
Yeah,
And so you're not like wasting time when you do it.
exactly. It like
It's
is
hard to
my
get
job.
past that feeling. I mean, do people come into the store and say that a lot? Like, I'm trying to read more because I feel like I can't, or.
Yeah, all the time. It is such a, especially, I mean, it's always been the case, right? You hit a certain age and you just kind of fall off of it for
Right.
various reasons. Um, and so everybody who comes in is usually like, having that I'm trying to get back to my love of reading. I used to read all the time as a kid, da 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 da. Da. And there's like, it's so fun to try to like find that hook of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, do you want to start somewhere specific, like with what
Right.
you used to like, or do you want to just like know what I like, you know?
Yeah. Jump in somewhere and see what
And
happens.
and it's so fun to then see those people come back and be like, it's working.
Right. Because that's what it takes, right? It's like that unlocking. And I'm sure even you who reads all the time goes through this, where sometimes you just get in like a block and
Oh
like
yeah.
nothing seems to work.
Hmm.
And, today I'm sort of going to take a nonfiction angle on this by request of our dear friend Anna Martin or Anna Spratling.
Anna
Congratulations
Spratling,
to the
congrats,
Spratlings. But they
Anna.
did give us permission to still refer to watching all the movies as Anna Martining.
Oh, good,
Uh,
because that is just a verb.
yes, that is a verb. It is what it is. But yes, Anna requested some good dark nonfiction.
I
So
love
we're going to
that.
get into that. But I have found that that was kind of the thing that unlocked reading for me again. Because growing up, I read largely fiction. And I feel like I was beating myself up for a long time of being like, why can't I get into it again? And then I would punctuate that by bringing in nonfiction. And all of a sudden, I'd be like, books all over
Yeah.
again. And now, when I look at my story graph, like I generally read about 50-50,
Hmm.
half nonfiction, half fiction.
I love that.
So yeah, it's like finding that key.
Yeah, you gotta find your niche.
Yes, precisely.
Turns out my niche
S-
was horror.
yes, right,
Who knew?
exactly. Well, it's also funny. I was looking back through my story graph as well, trying to like find some of my like favorite dark reads, and of course, like I imported all my good reads and stuff years ago, which I've been using for Lord knows how long, and until I started using Storygraph.
Yep.
And it was interesting to see. that shift that like I mean for one thing I was reading a lot of things for like school, being in
Yeah.
grad school for 7 years. So
Yeah,
there was a
that'll
lot of stuff that was rough. But the types of books I read weren't necessarily like the kinds of things I would read now. A lot of more general fiction, I think. Like it was kind of, what you find when you walk into the front of the bookstore. And you're like, there's the table.
Yep.
That cover looks good. I guess I'll read that.
Yep. People seem to like this one.
Yeah, right. So
Totally.
now I feel like I've focused more on what I actually, enjoy, and that helps a lot as well.
I love that. And I think not to like go off on a tangent, but I do
No, go
think
for it.
people need to let themselves like give themselves permission to follow that
Mm,
path because
hmm.
like I do think people will pigeonhole themselves into
Right.
like, oh, no, I like to read this type of thing.
Yeah.
And they won't even like try with
Yeah,
other like
totally.
genres. Like the amount of people who are like, they come in and they only like they've told themselves that they only read like literary fiction.
Right.
And like they
Yes.
won't even pick up something that has like magical realism in it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you are missing so much good literature
Yes.
because you're afraid of fantasy. Like I'm not
Yeah,
giving you
totally.
fairy smut. I'm giving you
Right.
like
Like it's like the great literary fiction. It's just
yeah,
got elements of other
exactly. And
things.
I
Yeah.
just find that so like, I always point out to people, I'm like, I'm the horror person now, but that's only been since like 2020. I was the
Right.
YA specialist
Yeah, that's
for the
right.
better
Yep.
part of a decade.
Hmm.
I would only read YA, and then occasionally I would dip in it into like a psychological thriller, and then
Right.
that just kind of,
Oh
you
yeah, I
know,
feel like psychological thrillers were kind of my gateway drug
yeah,
as well. Like I started reading things like Ruth Ware and
yes,
Tana French and
exactly.
stuff like
Gillian
that.
Flynn,
The
it was
Gillian
like,
Flynn,
yep,
exactly. And like that was kind of the
yeah,
lead out of what I'd been reading before to like kind of wait, is this more? Do I like things a little darker?
like
Like
a
I've
bit
always known I like
darker.
horror movies, but I wasn't necessarily. I think once I grew out of like your Goosebumps and like, reading your Stephen King, like I'd still pick up a Stephen King, but it wasn't necessarily like,
Yeah,
oh, is that what I like?
right.
Or I'm like out
Yeah.
here forcing myself to read like Philip Roth and shit like
Right.
that, you know? Like, why
Yeah.
am I doing this?
Seriously though.
Like, that's not my bag. No wonder I'm in a rut, you know?
Exactly.
And to your point too, like, I read when I do read fiction, it is probably 90% horror, but then, one of my favorite books of the last several years was Elin Hildebrand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like every now and again, then you get hit by something completely out of the blue, and there you are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the journey.
It's the journey. Just follow the journey.
Yes.
Just
But
do the
presumably,
thing.
if you're listening to this, you want to get into spooky season and you like either horror reads or some dark nonfiction that we're going to get into. So, Ryan, why don't we start with what you brought here in terms of some nice fiction?
I am looking at a couple of towering stacks. I'm
Yes.
sure I won't get to all of them, but I just basically ran through my own bookshelves and I was like, yeah, this one and this one and this one.
Nice.
Um, and I want to actually start out with a little bit of like left column, like if
Okay,
you are
great. Love that.
if you have kiddos or if you are like haven't really dipped a toe into reading horror and you just kind of want to like see if
Yeah.
it's your thing. These two recommendations come directly from my 8-year-old daughter Cordelia,
Amazing.
who is very good at hand selling books and basically already has a job at Gibson's. The first one is Monster Movie by Chuck Wendig.
I have that behind me. I haven't
Yes,
read
you
it yet,
do.
but yes.
She loves this book. This was her first ever horror novel that she
Love
read. We
that.
read it together. Um, she loves to tell people about this book. It's got the main character is like a middle schooler with really bad anxiety. He's really nervous. He's kind of a scaredy cat, and all of his friends are getting together the night of like the parent teacher conferences. They're all going to go to this other kid's house to watch quote unquote the scariest movie ever made.
Yes.
Because he's somehow gotten a hold of it. And things go awry, and this giant TV head monster starts terrorizing the kids in town, and our protagonist has to be brave and save them all. And it is so much fun and has so many
Love
twists
that.
and turns. And I genuinely like loved reading this. I was like, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
so fun.
That's
Um,
exactly the kind of thing that I got to put on my October
yeah,
list, is like some of that really like left column again, like nostalgic, reminds you of
yes.
your first entries into reading this stuff when you were, 7, that
And
kind of
like
thing.
truly horror for kids, honestly, the only difference from talking to authors who write for both kids and adults,
Mm,
the only difference is like the amount of maybe gore on the page
sure, right.
and maybe like how nice they are to the kids. Like
Right,
is
yeah.
probably a little, but like the actual like Griblies are
Yeah,
scary. Like it is properly freaky. And
love
yeah,
that.
Monster Movie is so much fun. My husband just read it and he was
Oh,
like, that was genuinely great. And I was like, I know.
okay. Adding that to the top of the list, especially since it's been sitting behind me for 2 years now.
Yep.
It's time to read it.
Chuck will be thrilled. And then the other one, Cordy and I are reading together right now. It's called Another. It's by Paul Tremblay, who I also
Okay,
love.
another normally adult horror
Yes.
guy. Okay.
Yeah, dipping a toe. So this is again another middle grade, so like right in there with your goosebumps and your scary stories to tell at the dark. Um, and this one is so creepy, especially because I don't yet know how it ends because we're only like halfway through.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
But this kid who again is like dealing with anxiety, he's got some tics that he's dealing with. And he experienced something that he refers to as the Zoom incident. So
Mm.
it takes place like kind of right around, it's like 2021, right? So it's like he was in school during the pandemic. They were having virtual school, and he like his anxiety had gotten so bad during lockdown. He had all these facial tics, and
Oh.
someone in his class like screen recorded him
Oh
during
no.
a presentation and then like set it to music, and it went viral around the school, and it was like really exacerbated this poor kid's anxiety. And so he doesn't really have any friends. He's really shy. He doesn't want to reach out. And one day, this phone in their house that he didn't even realize was connected rings. And his mom's like, "Oh, like your friend from school is coming over." And he's like, "What? Literally, what friend?" And this guy shows up with a giant, like, potato sack. And he takes out this, like, boy made of clay and
Okay.
kind of just leaves. He's like, don't feed him, don't give him a bed, like he'll be fine, and just books it. And this boy made of clay like comes to life and is like adjusting
It's like
his
a weird
face.
little golem kind
It's
of
like a weird little
situation.
golem. And over the course of the book, he's starting to become more and more real. And this kid like can't figure out what's going on. Like he's like kind of befriending him and like, okay, he's kind of nice, but then he'll do something that's like a little creepy and he's like, I don't quite feel right about this. And it's like really genuinely creepy.
Awesome.
Uh Cordy's theory is she thinks that they're gonna switch places. She thinks the clay boy is trying to
Ooh.
take over the
I
life of
love
the
that
real
she's
boy.
like spotting things like that,
Yes.
Obviously, as Kristen and I have been watching things for the fan cave, like that's one of the things we've talked about, right? Like look for the tropes, look for those little hints about like what's going to happen and stuff that you've seen in other things. And so that's so cool that, Cordy is looking at something and being like,
It's so
I can
cute.
see what's happening here.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
great.
so
So Another by Paul
Another by Paul
Tremblay.
Tremblay. So
Beautiful.
those are my two kind of like left column read them with your kids, read them by yourself, like whatever, however you want to do it, but they're really, really fun.
I love that.
Oh, okay.
For the grown-ups.
Facing down my giant stacks. I'm kind of I was gonna try to sort them. I think I'm just gonna go kind of down the stacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Obviously, I'm not gonna talk about every single book that I love because we'd be
Right,
here for
yeah.
8 hours and I still wouldn't cover everything.
Yeah.
And for some of these, just take it as a given that you should read everything the author writes, not just the one I'm holding up.
Ooh, okay.
I will
I
like
like it.
mention that as I go.
Sure.
Um, Starting out strong, I just read this book, Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley.
Good title. Oh, this
Oh,
is the guy who I keep thinking his name is Brian McWriter every
yes.
time
Yes.
you
Yeah,
post
his
it.
handle is Brian McWriter. He's an absolute delight of a human. And they when they sent me the arc of this, it came with a pair of grippy socks and a sweatband.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm in. What even is
Mood.
this? I'm
Yep.
in. And it takes place at this like hippy dippy spa retreat, and it is a pure slasher. It's
Oh, excellent.
so much fun. If you love Scream, you will love this book. It's delightful. Oh God, I love him. And he's got a couple other books out that I haven't read yet, but I
Okay.
now own and will be reading. But particularly this one is just
Breathe in, bleed
fun.
out.
Breathe
Brian
in,
McCauley.
bleed out.
Excellent.
So good.
Into it.
Um, I've got this one here, Jenny Kiefer. So she wrote This Wretched Valley, which I know our book
That's
club
right.
had mixed reviews on. That was
Sure.
her debut. This one is just pure fun vibes. It
Excellent.
is a queer woman locked in a craft store run by a religious cult.
Yes. In my veins.
It is awesome.
For this.
I mean, the weapons she makes out of craft supplies, the things she does to survive, the things she uncovers about this cult. It's fun vibes. It's just
Excellent.
fun vibes. So that's Crafting for Sinners,
That
which I
sounds
think
glorious. The
is
problem is you
really,
describe all of these things and then I'm like, I want to read that and
yeah,
that and that.
yeah,
Oh
yeah. No,
God. I need more
it's
time.
it's
But
a
go
problem.
on.
We're gonna get some cannibalism in here with
Yes.
Olivia Blake's Girl Dinner.
Girl dinner.
Girl Dinner.
Great.
Um, and I'm reading this one right now, and it is a like academic horror thriller with a sorority who are cannibals.
Excellent.
They're and the drama therein. Um,
Perfect.
and it's funny because this one sort of toes that line of like literary fiction with a twist. So it's
Mm,
written like your average, whoever is reading like women's fiction, like your average
sure.
reader of an academic a novel, whatever, set in a school and da 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 da. Like it's that, but with cannibals. Like
Nice.
you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily like I almost don't even want to qualify it as a horror novel because
Right.
it's just a regular fiction with
It just happens to
cannibalism.
have
It's
these
so
elements.
fun.
I was thinking about this the other day in terms of the old Fear Street books, right?
Yeah.
Because I think those books read like any sort of teen novel, right?
Yeah.
And then they just like add, and there's werewolves or
Right.
something like
Right.
that into it. And I think that was one of the things I always loved so much about it when I was a kid was like, this is this teen world that I'm so interested in and I'm dealing with like relationships and stuff like that are very regular shit.
Yeah.
Also, there are werewolves.
Right.
Like,
Also,
that's
there's
how
this other
those things
part.
worked. And I appreciate that in a book when done really well. Just like this could be, if you took that out of it, um, a
A
normal book that would
normal.
still be good. But
Right. Yeah.
now we have this other horror element to it.
Which is just so fun. I
Yeah.
love that. Um, on the complete other side of that, this one is pure horror. Um, Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell
Yes.
is just Oh, body horror chaos. Um, the like the narrator, the main protagonist is this monster who falls in love and is trying to like change herself a little bit and also not change herself, like wants to be true to herself, but can physically change herself by like eating people.
Nice. Okay.
Um, so she can like eat a creature or a person or whatever and kind of like absorb part and like she can like shift her bones around to be a totally different like structure. And she's this really cool, very physical monster that like I desperately want art of
Mm-hmm.
because I just want to be able to see her. She's so cool.
Where do you
But
find
it's
stuff like that these days? Like, is it like DeviantArt? Like, where are people
is that like
making
yeah,
fan
like is
art
that a
of
thing
things these
anymore?
days?
Because I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes authors will post fan art and I'm like,
Yeah.
where are you getting that? I want to see that.
Right? I'm
Um
so curious.
yeah, and so this like monster, for lack of a better word, like falls in love with I think a human. Um and it's very sapphic and it is like this grotesque love story.
Okay.
Um and it is awesome and gory and gross and so beautiful and it was one that I started listening to it like a long time ago and just was like I kept zoning out and being like I don't know what's happening. This is a
Right.
lot of world building for right now. Like I don't know what's going on. And finally like two or three of my coworkers were like, "No, I really think you'd like it." And I was like, "Okay." So I sat down and like really focused for the first like three chapters and then I got into it and then I was like,
Right.
"Oh,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
this is awesome." So
I
it's a
definitely know
little
that
bit
feel.
yeah, you kind of it's one that I would recommend like really focus to start and then you can kind of once you get like who the main character is and where
Mm-hmm.
she is then you can kind of be like all right now I can
Now
like play a game
multitask.
while I'm
Yeah.
listening but it's
Sure.
really good really well
Okay.
written.
Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell.
Yes. um Chuck Wendig, we've mentioned him for Monster Movie. This is one of
Yes.
those authors just read everything,
I
just read
know,
it
it's
all,
true. Yep.
just read all of it. Hilariously, I was looking for any of my copies of Staircase in the Woods. I don't know where any of them are. I've got like six. I must
I
have
don't
read
have,
them
I
out.
gave it to my, I got a signed copy from Gibson's for my mother for her birthday, but I don't actually have one. So I do, is it out in paperback yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Although his books are so big, they're kind of better in hardback so that you can kind of counterbalance them. Because Black
Sure.
River Orchard, which you were just holding up,
It's
is
a
what,
chunky
like
boy.
almost, it's like 600, almost 700 pages, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But
It's a
goes
big one.
so fast. Like
Yes.
I read that one in hardcover. I didn't listen to it.
Yep.
And then my husband just read it an ebook on his phone. Um,
Nice.
and it, despite being that long, it does not feel like it. It is famously the Evil Apples book.
Yep.
So, you know, that's sort of following this town that is consumed by some malevolent force as a result of eating these special apples from a specific farm that at first appear to make you better.
Mhm.
But that's not what's truthfully happening.
It doesn't seem that
It
way.
doesn't turn out that way. So Black River Orchard by
Oh,
Chuck Wendig is great. Super
so
recommend it.
good. I
Yeah.
love him. All of his books are great. A Staircase in the Woods takes place in New Hampshire.
Yes.
I'm in the acknowledgments.
Yeah,
I'm
famously birthed at an event that we were both at
yes.
Gibson's. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely on my list to read. And I probably should just get it hardcover, realistically.
Yeah. So yeah, anything by him, he's one that I recommend to people who the only horror they've read is Stephen King.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, okay, he's gonna
He's Stephen King, but he sticks the landing.
exactly. He's gonna have the big sweeping plot. He's gonna have the
Yeah.
huge cast of characters. He's gonna have all the little storylines, but they're all gonna tie together in the end, and it's gonna make sense.
Yes, exactly.
It's not
Hmm.
gonna be an alien from outer space that was never mentioned before. There will be
Right.
hints.
Yes. And his, his dialogue and his references are pretty on point. Like to the
Yeah.
point where actually my husband was a little bothered by it. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it keeps like referring to like things that are now." And
Yeah.
it's weird. I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
takes place now." So, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's wild. His Wanderers duology, the first one came out in 2020 or like late 2019 maybe.
Mm.
And like directly it like starts with a pandemic, a global pandemic from China that starts with
Oh no.
bats. Like it was like insane. Like Erin Morgenstern and I were talking about it during an interview. She was like, "Oh, I just read this book," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny! That like, have you heard the news about this
Yeah,
thing?" It was
there's
like
like
January
supposedly this thing
2020.
happening.
Insane. So yeah,
Wild.
he's a little prescient, but but we
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah, which on that note, I don't know if you were gonna pull this one, but Bat Eater
Oh,
and
I
other names for Cora
love that
Zhang, is that
book.
what it's called? Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Huh. That is
God,
who's
I
the
love.
author of that one? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh my God.
But it is
I
that's I think
yeah.
starts out absolutely floors you in the first chapter with just
Yes.
an unhinged moment of violence, but then sort of unfolds as a real horror book all the way through, but with this story about Asian trauma during the pandemic and
Yeah.
the incredible racism that Asian Americans were
Oh,
facing at that time, and it manages to balance those in a ways that it's not message horror. It's not coming out like there was no monster, it was racism the whole time. Like, no, there's
no.
like real actual terrible things happening in this. There's
Yeah.
lots of murders and things like that going on, but also it's making a lot of really great points about what that anti-Asian hate looked
Yeah.
like and looks like to this day. So Bat Eater.
Yeah, that's by Kylie Lee Baker.
Thank you, Kylie Lee Baker.
And when I was at the NEBA book conference last week, I got an arc of her next book
Ooh.
and lost my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I love her.
Amazing. But yes.
Okay. This one is another one that I would almost, it's not quite, it's more middle column.
Okay.
This
I think
is
I might have that one
I,
too.
I think I gave you this one because it's just delightful. It's called Haunt Sweet Home. It's by Sarah Pinsker. And this is HGTV, but make it haunted.
Yes.
And it's like
Love it.
really, really good and sweet. Um, there is an actual ghost in it. It's not, a message. There's a ghost, but it
Yes. Give me all
also,
the ghosts. When it comes to Halloween time, what I
ah,
want more than
give me
anything is
ghosts.
ghosts.
Oh, I
Just give
love
me all the
ghosts.
ghosts.
This is Ghosties. And it's also about like finding yourself outside of your family, like coming into your own and what that looks like. And it is so good and it made me feel way more things than I expected.
Nice.
But in a really good way. And I can confirm I asked my scaredy cat coworker to read this and she loved it.
Okay, great.
So,
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
yeah. She can't do any horror. And I was like, try this one. And she loved it. So it can be
Beautiful.
read by people who are like, I don't
You're like,
know.
oh,
I want
yeah, that's
ghosts,
great.
but not scare. I like Casper. You'll like this.
Right. I feel like that's like kind of the thing with books like this, like Haunt Sweet Home, is that like with the whole idea of ghost things,
Mhm.
there is like something about it that is more accessible than like a slasher or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
spooky to us in a way that I think is like, yeah, it's accessible, I guess is just the word I think of, where you're not
Yeah.
really going to like carry that with you. It's like
Right.
fun to get a little like woo, but like at the end of the day, it's not going to like nest in your soul and you
Right.
think about it forever. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I like that.
Exactly. For it to do that, it's got to have other elements,
Right.
like in addition to the ghost.
Exactly.
Like, because
Yes.
the ghost itself,
Which
like they
is the
can't
case
hurt
with like
you.
Bat Eater. Like
Right.
it's ghosty,
Exactly.
but like there's a lot of other
There's a lot of
elements.
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna pull Paul Tremblay down. I just want to show off my very cool collection of horror movie because he gave me some very cool editions.
Nice.
So I have a UK edition, I think, that is actually bumpy, scaly, and then I
Ooh.
have a green edition from Indie Bookstore Day.
This
And then I
sprayed
have
edges thing is like this is I'm really into this
it's my
thing.
jam. It's
Yeah.
my jam, which is
I
the
just
problem
read one
because
like that and I was like
whew, they're all doing it now, and I'm like, I can't have
oh
all the
no.
books.
Yeah. This horror movie, actually, this is another one that both
Oh,
Keo and I read.
I love horror movies so much. I like I can't overstate the fact that no other book since The Exorcist has had me unable to sleep after
Love that.
finishing it. I was in a hotel room and I finished it. It was like midnight or something. And I was laying in the hotel room and I was just like, the thin kid is under my bed or possibly in that corner. And that's
Amazing.
just a fact to me.
Yep. That's the
Um,
best. Yes.
it was amazing. I was like, I don't know how you did it, Paul, but thank you because I forgot what it was like to be scared. And so thank you. I've read it a few times now. I love it the same or more each time. It is a cursed film book. It is the Skinamarink of books. But I say that with
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
because the
In a
film
good way
in the
somehow.
book, the
Yeah.
film in the book is very Skinamarink
Yeah.
vibes.
Totally.
But you get a lot more action and
Right.
dialogue.
Yes. Stuff
And
happens in this.
stuff happens. You get different like it bounces back and forth in time between the current day where this guy who played this character called the Thin Kid in this weird culty movie that was never officially released but leaked online. He is involved in the remake of this movie. So you're getting those chapters, which are very funny because Paul Tremblay famously has had at least one of his books turned into a movie and maybe included some real conversations into this book with Hollywood producers.
Nice.
As he said to me once, if you get me drunk enough, I'll show you which ones are real quotes. And he did.
Beautiful.
And then you get the kind of original timeline of the kid, as a kid being approached, hey, do you want to be in this? And then you get the script pages. So you're actually reading the movie, and it is whew, real effective, real
Yeah. And that was a
creepy.
really good audiobook as
It's a
well.
really good audiobook.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots
Horror
of good.
movie by Paul Tremblay as an audiobook is really it's a really fun listen.
Ooh. Yeah, lots of good production with that one. Good
Yeah.
sound effects and stuff. Whew. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
Excellent.
Um, for those who want some extreme horror,
Oh
some
boy.
some like splatterpunk, always go for trans horror
I was gonna
because
say, is this gonna be trans horror?
it's
Because
gonna be
trans
trans horror.
horror, whew,
That's where it's at. That's
those
that's where,
those girlies know what they're doing.
oh my God, it's where you are getting the most uh insane, cathartic, disturbing horror being written right now is
Hmm.
by trans folks. In particular, Alison Rumfitt, God love her. Uh, Brainworms is the one that I like to recommend the most. And that is Brainworms with a Y,
Oh,
WYRMS.
okay.
Yeah, because um,
Worms.
and it is parasite horror.
Okay, already I'm
Uh,
squicked.
yup.
Oh
And there's a bit of a fetish
god.
with that. And also I'm pretty sure this is the one where the J.K. Rowling insert character gets absolutely
Oh,
ganked.
okay. Yes, I have
Yeah.
heard about this.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. which also happens in Manhunt,
Yes,
um,
and in Manhunt, yes,
which
Gretchen
is
Felker
also
Martin.
trans horror by
And
Gretchen Felker
also,
Martin.
yeah, not for the weak stomach, but
No.
if you can
Uh,
handle it,
yeah,
great stuff.
yeah. And on the Gretchen Felker Martin front, her books can be pretty divisive,
Hmm.
but or divisive. Her new one, which I am blanking on the title of, but I will look it up. Her new one is really good, and it's a cursed film book.
Oh, okay.
And it is, I mean, deeply, deeply fucked up. But
Yeah, I think that's come to be expected at this point.
yeah, yeah. Her new one is called, oh boy. Black Flame.
Black Flame.
Black Flame.
Excellent.
So that one is really good. I liked that one a lot. I did the audiobook of that one and I was like, "Ooh, Gretchen."
Awesome.
Um, let's see.
Imagine reading like one of these audiobooks, like being the narrator on them.
Being the
Like
person. Yeah.
it just gotta be like, oh my God,
Yep. You
give
gotta
me a
just be
minute.
like, all right,
Yep.
just let's do another take on that. I think I said that word weird. Like the most vile.
I'm sorry, they get estrogen from doing what? To what?
Hey,
uh, you know?
Um, um, another one that's more middle column, is Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan.
Cute
I
cover.
love, okay, I love Lindy Ryan. She does a lot of like anthologies and short stories and things like that. And this little series, I've read the first two now. The best way I can describe it is that it's like a horror novel that was written the way a contemporary romance novel is written. So it's the
Okay.
like the fun banter, the chemistry, the like light-hearted, a little bit goofy, but there's vampires.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on board.
It's really fun. It is gory. Like that's not to say that it's not like,
Doesn't skimp.
yeah, it doesn't skimp on anything. Um but it is very much it's a southern horror, and it is just like I just found myself like giggling at like the dialogue. I was like, if this wasn't like a brutal vampire story, this would be a romance novel.
Right,
Like this is
everybody would be
how
reading it. It'd be Emily Henry.
exactly. So much fun. It's what a time.
On the vampire note, I just read one also on the sprayed edges note. I have won like three Storygraph giveaways, which
Look at
is
you.
wild. And so they sent me Blood Like Mine by Stuart Neville, which is the beginning of, I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'm not sure. There's at
Yeah,
least another book coming for sure.
nice. Have
And
that.
it's a vampire book, which, as you know, is not necessarily my bag. I'm not a huge
No,
vampire person.
no.
But this book is about a girl, a teenage girl, sort of,
Mhm.
who's basically perpetually like 14 years old,
Yep.
but has been on the run with her mother for the past like decade, because they're trying to hide that she's a vampire. But
Mm.
in sort of a dextery turn, obviously she needs to feed, so they try to find like pedophiles and shit like that to
Yeah. Okay.
kill so that she can feed. But on the other end of this, there's a cop who's trying to solve this spate of murders that he's like, okay, all the guys are bad guys, so it's clearly one person going at like they're being killed the same way. And so
Yeah.
you're following these like parallel stories of this cop who's basically ruining his own life following this girl over
Oh
the course of
no.
this time. And then these two who are kind of like, it's a mother and daughter, and there's this tension because the mom wants to protect this girl, but like she's an adult in her head, she's
Yeah.
not this
Right.
little
She's
girl.
been 14 for a while.
Right. And she's like stuck sort of living this transient life with no connections to anyone. And like, is it worth it to live like that? So yeah, Blood Like Mine,
Awesome.
I read it in like 2 nights. Just, I think I took it to the pool one day and like finished the next night on the porch. And I think it's perfect for the Halloween time. Very, takes place at night a lot, very
Ooh, I love that.
isolated. Yeah, great story. I
That's
recommend that one.
awesome. Yeah, I think I have that as an arc
Yeah,
somewhere.
you should check it out. It's worth
I'm
your
like,
time, I
I'm
think.
like, I know that
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Very cool looking book.
title.
Great cover, great
Yeah,
edges, like
I'll have to
blood
see if that's
spatter
over
on
there.
the edges.
That's awesome.
Ooh,
Um, for everyone who loved The Substance, Youth Juice.
youth juice.
Youth Juice. All one word, all lowercase, by E.K. Sathue, Sathue. It is body industry horror, and there is body horror in this. Ah,
Sounds right up Marco's alley.
yeah, yeah. I think I might have given him that one. I
Nice.
can't remember. I gave him literally like a suitcase full
Yeah,
of books.
as
I was
he's
like, I don't know.
mentioned, he just mentioned this past week that,
Yeah.
he's pulls books from it all the time and the stack is not getting any smaller.
He showed up to lunch and I was like, here you go. He was like, Jesus Christ.
I have to carry this on the train.
Yeah, I was like, good luck. But this one, it is super gross, and it is such a fun take on the beauty industry and the fashion industry. And what's really fun is that EK Sathue, I had her at Gibson's last October, and she used to work in that industry. She was like a columnist or something. And
Mm,
so she would go to
that's
these
cool.
like, fashion parties and like makeup parties and like be around these like uber elite people and they're shilling their products and she would just be like,
Right.
"Oh my God, like what is in this?"
Oh,
Like
I love that. I love that insider perspective of things.
yeah.
So you get people like what's her face? Amakatsu who like
Yes.
has really cool insider information, but her books aren't necessarily like about any of
Her
that
horror
stuff.
ones are not.
Yeah, her horror books aren't. Yeah.
She does
Right.
have a thriller series that is
Yes.
very like that. But
Focused
yeah,
on
her horrors
her
aren't.
other stuff. But yeah, I like, when people really like, oh yeah, I'm in this world and
Yeah,
take what they've observed and amplify it. I think that's so much fun.
it's so fun. I love that.
So,
Let's see. If you want some rock and roll horror, there are
ooh,
a bunch of really good ones, none of which I think
okay.
I have physical copies of right here, except Fever House, which is by Keith Rawson. This is the start of, I think, a trilogy. I think the first two are out right now. And this one is very like there are, I think, three artifacts of the devil or a demon. And the first one is about the hand. They find the hand.
Okay.
And it's like a
Interesting.
heist book, but it's very like it's very rock and roll. It's very I don't even know how to like describe it. I feel like I read it in a fever. Like I read it in one sitting and I was just like, what is gonna happen
Oh, amazing.
next?
Okay.
Really, really cool. There's another one that oh God, I will think of the title, but it was basically like it's about like a haunted record or
Okay.
something. And then House of Idol,
Okay.
Idyll, by Delilah S. Dawson just came out.
Oh,
And that
okay.
is another rock and roll, like cult horror. Very, very cool. So yeah,
Excellent.
there is rock and roll horror, and it is
Sweet.
awesome. It is
On
really
board. Yes. So Fever
uh
House by Keith Ross and House of Delilah S. Dawson. By the way, all of this I'm writing down and will be in the,
yeah,
notes for this. So you don't have to remember every single thing that's being said here.
heck yeah. And almost all of these are either my staff picks or they're on my horror
Beautiful.
list, which we will also link.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, I love an anthology.
Nice.
So I have Out There Screaming by Jordan
Right.
Peele. This is all black horror. It is awesome. Um, it is but basically Jordan Peele like reached out to his favorite black horror writers and he was like, "I'm putting together an anthology. What do you got?"
Yeah, I gotta read that one
It
for
is
sure.
so
Yeah.
awesome. They're all so different and it's all these like really, really very cool novellas that are all like about the Black experience, but through a horror lens. And one of
Yeah.
them is actually a little bit sci-fi, a little bit.
Okay.
Um, they are so good. And I love an anthology because you know that you're about to be introduced to a bunch of authors you've never read
That's
before.
true. Yeah, for sure.
This book, Out There Screaming, is what introduced me to Tananarive Due, who wrote The
Oh, okay, great.
Reformatory. So I
Yes, which
read this,
is yeah,
and then The
well,
Reformatory, had a panic attack, and told everyone about it.
yeah, that was amongst I asked Mark for a couple recs and the Reformatory was amongst his. We talked about it the last time that you were on the show.
Yep.
Obviously, when you did a whole cold open sort of about the
Yeah.
real story behind the
Right.
Reformatory.
Mhm.
And Tananarive Due is
Oh,
incredible. What a writer, what a
so
talent.
good.
And
Yeah.
that whole, I think I might have mentioned this to you before, but that idea of this like anthology of Black horror writers really appeals to me because, one of my favorites when I was a kid was a book called The Dark 30 that was kind of
Mhm.
like a set of, it's ostensibly for kids,
Mhm.
but it's a little, the themes are really like serious in many ways, right? Dealing with a lot of kind of horrors of like slavery and things like that as well. And, I have these like memories of reading this book that kind of came out of the Black experience and some sort of, harkening back to like African folk tales and all kinds of things like that as a formative horror experience for
Oh,
me.
that's
So I
so cool.
definitely need to check out There Screaming and kind
Oh,
of, see the updated grown-up version of
it
this.
is incredible. It
Yeah.
is so good. I literally like each story was my favorite. Like,
Perfect.
what's your favorite story? Whatever one I'm reading
All
right
of
now. They're
them.
all
Yes.
amazing.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
and speaking of anthologies, this one is like buried in my stack, but
Can't Jenga it out.
I can't Jenga it out right now. I'll get there eventually. But if you're looking for a really good horror anthology, look for Ellen Datlow as the editor.
Okay.
Datlow. She's the queen.
Okay.
She's the
That's
queen.
good knowledge right there.
Absolutely. If Ellen Datlow has edited it, you know that the stories are going to be tight and good. The authors are going to be really good. Like she takes no shit. She like I have met her. She is like she's the queen.
Amazing.
And so I have one of hers here. I think I actually have a few of her anthologies. Um she's done like I think she did one of the like best horror of the year. Like I think she's done a couple of those maybe. But
Nice.
I have one called When Things Get Dark, which I think is one of her more recent ones. But like within the horror community, like if you get selected to be in an Ellen Datlow book, like
Like
you've
you've
made
made
it.
it. Yeah, okay.
So
That's awesome.
if you're looking for a horror anthology, look for Ellen Datlow and you know you'll be in good hands.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good word.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the best. And she's like really cool and really sweet
Awesome. I
also.
gotta go with you to one of these like conference things one of
Yes,
these
you do.
times,
Yes, you
Like
do.
I feel like I'd be in heaven.
Oh my God, it's the best. We already have our tickets to StokerCon next year, which is in
Nice.
Pittsburgh.
Those go quick, don't they?
They do. Yeah, it's already
Yeah.
sold out.
Yeah.
I
It's
think it sold
like
out the first day. Like it was
right as
insane.
soon as they go on sale, they're gone.
Oh man, but you should I wonder if you could get down here end of October for the Merrimack Valley one
Ooh,
because it's
okay.
free. It's like at a little
Oh, nice.
library and like all these horror authors come and you just get to walk around and like chat with people and you can like buy their books and like they're so fun.
That'd be
They're
rad. We'll
really
have to connect and
yeah.
talk about it because I'd love to go to one of these things and
Oh
just
my
be
God.
like, I love
Yeah.
the energy of things like that, of
It's
just
the
like people who
best.
just fucking love reading.
Yes.
Bunch of weird nerds want to
Bunch
read
of
their
weird
horror.
nerds. We're all just weird nerds.
Yep.
Speaking of weird nerds, one of my favorite weird nerds is Chris Panettiere. What a goober. Um, this book is called The Redemption of Morgan Bright. This was recommended to me by Clay McLeod Chapman. He literally messaged me one day. He said, I'm here with this guy named Chris Panettiere. He's got this book. He just described it to me. You need to read it.
Okay.
Okay, Clay. So I
Noted.
did,
Yeah.
and it was great. And then I got to meet Chris at StokerCon, and he's just such a goober and like so silly and so funny. And now we're friends, and that's my
Beautiful.
life.
True.
But this one, so the redemption of Morgan Bright is so it's a mental hospital horror, but not in the way you'd think.
Okay.
So like when someone says mental hospital horror, I get a little, my hackles raise a little
Sure.
bit
Yeah,
because I'm like,
absolutely.
how are
Yeah.
you handling this? And I
Mm-hmm.
can say beyond the shadow of a doubt, this is handled really well.
Okay.
It starts out, there's a sister who's trying to find out what happened to her sister,
Mm-hmm.
who went to this place and vanished and then turned up dead, like
Okay.
a mile from this place. So this main character creates a false identity and has herself committed to this hollyhock.
Nice. Pulls a little Nellie Bly on it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it opens, she's like entering this facility. She's going through kind of the like, I guess, welcoming procedures. It feels very like peak toxic mental
Oh, okay. Yeah,
institution,
yeah,
like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
feels very Cuckoo's Nest era.
Right. Okay.
And then she comes to and she's in a police station and it is modern day and she has no idea who she is.
Oh, you've got me. I'm fucking in. Are
It's
you serious? I'm on it.
so
Yeah.
good. It's so good. I brought this to London with me, and was like literally reading it in London in front of like, the Tower of London. I was just sitting there and I was
It's
like,
like,
yeah, yeah,
sorry,
that's
I just
cool. I gotta
gotta.
find out what happens to Morgan.
Yeah, Ravens. Nice. Anyway.
And like what's cool about this, Chris does the thing that I love so, so much in that at one point in this book, there is a website for this Hollyhock Asylum, and it's a real website.
Transmedia.
He built a real
Love
website. I was
it.
like, thank you. That's my favorite.
Did you know or did you try it
I
first?
tried
Like,
it.
oh,
I was like,
amazing. I
I
love
hadn't
finding it
like met him
organically.
yet. Yeah, no, I got to that part. I was on my lunch break and I was like, and I like looked it up on my
Hmm.
phone and I was like,
Oh, that's great. Love that.
yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. This one was one of our book club books that we all really loved, Revenge,
Yes,
Yoko Ogawa.
absolutely.
Man, what a book.
What a book. Like,
This
it's
book
so
club
short and it
discussion,
does so much. Yeah.
I feel I feel like that book club discussion could have gone for another like 2
Totally.
hours.
Yeah. 100%. I
Like,
think it already went for like an hour and a half or
I
more.
think you're right because it's these 11 little like vignettes, these short little stories, but you realize that they're all taking place like on the same day in the same place and they're like
Yeah.
overlapping
Right. It's like they're
and
interconnected without being like
yeah.
it's so hard to explain it. It's done in because the idea of like interconnecting stories can be done in a way that's kind of hack. They're
Right.
like, yeah, oh, okay, and it
Oh, yeah, that's
all,
actually
and it was her grandfather, like like
yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
and it's not connected in that way. It just sort of these things incidentally are happening
Yeah.
concurrently, and have these little bits of overlap between them.
Yeah. It is
Uh, it's-
so I don't even know what else to say about it except that
yeah,
everyone should read it.
just read Revenge by Yoko Ogawa. It's short, and
Oh,
you'll sit there afterwards. It does that thing where you close the book and you're just like, deep
yeah.
breath, like, wow.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah.
Another one that I'm gonna reach in my other stack for this one. This guy, Uketsu,
Okay.
has written I think 2 of these so far. The first one is Strange Pictures. This one is Strange Houses. They are so weird.
Okay.
So this is another, they're super short
Okay.
and it is a similar like little vignettes or I guess Strange Pictures is more like little vignettes. This Strange Houses is a little more streamlined one story,
Mm,
but it is a mystery. It's a horror mystery that unfolds in the weirdest way. So like Strange Pictures, there's this like series of pictures,
sure.
and each vignette is about a different picture, and by like the third one you start to realize that, oh, these are all connected somehow.
Okay.
And there's like a weird thing that happened, and I like don't even know how to, like, the vibe was so unsettling.
Excellent.
And like same with Strange Houses. It's like in this one it's I think the same, I think there's like a detective who's in both or something.
Okay.
But in Strange Houses there's this weird house, and there's a blueprint of this house that this guy like calls up his buddy, and he's like, is this weird? This looks weird to me. There's something not right about this. And you're kind of looking at it because there are illustrations in the book, and you're
Mhm.
looking at it and you're like, I don't see anything weird. And then he'll point out, like, well, this bedroom over here has no windows and only one door, but then there's these two hallways on either side that don't go anywhere. And like, what's in those hallways? And like, why would the door be on this side? And why is there no window? It's on a corner. Like, and he starts like pulling apart, like,
Mm,
why was this house built this way? Was it for nefarious reasons? And then
mm.
starts connecting it to these like crimes. Like, could these
Oh,
crimes be
interesting.
connected to this house? Man,
Okay.
these
Again, I'm on
books.
board.
Ketsu, I don't think you have to read them in any particular order.
Okay.
Strange Pictures came out first. I read that one first. And then I happened to have the arc of Strange Houses. They are both so unsettling and so weird and so well done. And again, that writing is so tight and really
Yeah,
like,
okay.
woo.
Into it.
Really,
Super
really
into it.
good. Since we're kind of on the topic of these little short guys, this one, the book is not short, but that's because it's an anthology, and it's Man Fuck This House.
That's right. Yes.
We
So
love
he
Jimmy
expanded
Cooper.
upon this, right?
Yes. So, this was so funny because I think our book club is part of the reason why this exists.
I was gonna say, like, the thing that we said about it, right, was like there needs to be like more
There needs to be
of
more.
this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is by Brian Asman, and he wrote this book called Man Fuck This House,
Yeah.
which I don't even remember how we came across it for
No,
book
I have
club.
no
I have
recollection.
no idea how we came across this book. I can't remember if someone recommended it to me and then I recommended it to book club, or if someone in book club
Yeah.
recommended it. I don't know. But we read this book, and it's like, evil smart house
Right.
basically.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
it's yeah. I don't want to give too much away because it's super short. It's really fun. There's a kid named Damien. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, and like our one thing was like, oh man, I wish there was more of this. And I sold so many copies of Man Fuck This House because I discovered it for book club and would always just face it out on the shelf, that uh it like it sold so much that he got an anthology out of it. Like he got a
Amazing.
deal, like Man Fuck This House went out of print, and I was so upset.
Yeah, I
I was like,
recall that. Yeah.
fuck, what am I gonna do? What? Oh no! And then I got sent this, and I was like, sir, what?
Amazing.
um, so I have just started reading this now,
Nice.
and I can tell you simply by looking at how long. Hold on, I just passed by it. It is a little bit longer than it was.
Yes,
I
for
can
sure.
tell it's a
Yeah.
little bit longer than it
Hmm.
was. And I'm reading it. I'm like,
There's more here.
there's more here. This
That's
has
awesome
been
because
this
yeah,
has
that
been
was like
heavier.
our large thing was like it's good and everything, but it's like this it just needs to be built out.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like reading it now, I'm like, this feels more. So,
Nice.
which is cool. But yeah, so it's that and then a couple of other stories, and I'm very
Beautiful.
excited to read more by him because I just it's just so delightful. It's just so silly and fun. And
Yeah.
I just love authors who are like, fuck it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Let's do this. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so that's super fun, and he's going to be on the podcast, and
Oh, beautiful.
we're doing like a live virtual recording of the podcast in
That's
October,
right. Yes, indeed.
which will be fun. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, "Hey, is it my fault?
Yeah, right.
Is it me?
Did
Did I
we
do it?"
put this into existence by discovering it for book club and selling the shit out of it?
Just hand selling it constantly because I'm never not facing it out.
I mean, that's the thing is like with a title like that, and I think that might even been the case. I think I just saw the like
Yeah.
title somewhere and was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got to
Whatever
read
this
that
is,
one. Yeah, whatever this is, we got to read it.
it's
It
short, it's
sells
got a
itself.
hilarious title.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. Gotta
Yep.
do it. Let's see. Let's go with um spooky Halloween vibes. I love my girl
Yes.
Rachel Harrison. Her most Halloweeny book is Cackle. Um, it is I think it was like her second or third book that she wrote, and it's all witchy. It's witchy
Nice.
vibes. It's small
Nothing says
town.
Halloween like witches.
Exactly. She's got like a little pet spider.
Why
I think his name is
wouldn't you?
Ralph.
Of course, as you do.
Um, and it's just and true to Rachel Harrison, like there's body horror, like there are scary aspects to it, but I would say of all of her books, it's the least like scary of
Okay.
her books. It's the most accessible. It's kind of that like middle care category. Um, and I just love her. Her new one is called Play Nice, and it's about
Oh
a
yeah, that's right.
demon, and it's fucking awesome. I love
Beautiful.
her so much. I will go to bat for her always. She's
Love that.
amazing. Let's see. I can't come on a podcast and talk about horror and not talk about Josh Mallerman.
Ah,
I
yes.
must. I simply must. He's what got me into horror with Bird Box.
Amazing.
And wow, this is such a shiny cover. It's
It
like
is like,
reflecting
yeah, it's hard
everything.
to get it where you can actually read it.
Should have grabbed my ARC instead of the fancy hardcover. Um, Incidents Around the House is told from the perspective of a child named Bella, and it's actually awesome. Sometimes I get a little nervous when people are like, "I'm going to write this from the perspective of a child," and I'm like, "What's
Yeah,
the child going to talk like?
truth.
What's
Yeah,
what's
very much so.
is it? Are they going to talk like a grown up? What is it going to be?" But this is genuinely creepy. Bella is awesome. We love her. And she has a monster in her closet.
Excellent.
And the monster is called Other Mommy. And she
Okay.
wants to go inside Bella's heart.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Bella.
yeah. And what I love about this book also sort of came from a conversation that Josh and I had at one point on a podcast where I was talking about how I was like, yeah, I have spooky kids, and if Cordy came to me and was like, "There's a monster in my closet," I'd be like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe you.
Yeah.
Let's get you out of
Let's
there.
take
We'll
it
stage the
seriously.
house."
Yeah.
Like, it's like, like I wouldn't be that parent who's like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, whatever,"
Yeah.
because like you never know.
Right.
And so
It could be anything, to
it
be
could be
honest. Yeah,
anything.
don't
Like
just
there
send
could
them
be
back to
like
bed.
yeah, there could be like a person hiding. Like
Right.
you never know. Like crazy
Yeah.
shit happens. So in this book, Bella tells her parents about Other Mommy, even though Other Mommy doesn't want her to do that. And the parents believe her and they get her the fuck out
Nice.
of there, but Other
Excellent.
Mommy follows.
Okay, excellent. I love
It's so good.
also like a plot in which people do things right, right? Like I
Yes.
say this about The Strangers and things like that.
Yes.
Like when people make all the correct choices, but the
Yep,
thing still comes for them. It's not just because like, oh, you ran upstairs when the killer was there, right?
right.
Like it's genuinely they did the
Exactly.
thing they should have done.
Yeah.
The thing was just more powerful than them.
Yes. Yes. And there are, layers to this. It's not quite message horror, but there is like Bella's parents are going through some stuff and
Sure.
like there's a little bit of like, is this how Bella is handling their like
Right,
maybe
yeah.
impending divorce? Da da da. But like other mommy's real.
Yeah, okay.
She's there
Yeah.
and
I
she's
don't
fucking
mind a
shit up.
message as long as the horror is also real.
She's real and she's
Yeah.
terrifying. And sometimes her face is upside down.
Oh,
So
okay.
scary. She's so
Nice.
scary. This one you pre-ordered, American Rapture.
I did,
AJ
yes.
Lead. Ugh, I love her. Um, so this one, she's the same author as Mayfly, which was hit or miss with our book club.
Yeah, I was not a fan, but not to the
But
point where I wouldn't read her again because I liked the writing. I just took issue with some of the,
things that
sexual
happen.
assault and
Yeah,
things like that that occur in that book that I didn't
yes.
love the way they were handled. But
Yeah,
on a different subject, I'm on board. The
absolutely.
author is talented enough to get a second chance.
And holy shit, the ex-evangelicals are gonna eat
Yeah.
this one up.
Like American
Because
Rapture, go on.
the rapture is coming.
Yes. Amazing.
And it's starting with a lust plague.
Excellent. Okay.
And it's one of those things where it's like the sexual assault in Mayfly was a little bit gratuitous, maybe not necessary. Like she's kind of
Right.
just like
Yeah.
torturing people. And in this one, it's the plot.
Right. Yeah.
It is there for the story. It is serving a purpose. The main character is a very, very sweet little virgin girl who's just like, figuring some stuff out about herself. And she gets home and her parents are not quite her parents anymore. And so
Okay.
she goes on the run and she's trying to find her, I think it's her brother. Yeah, one of her family members she's trying to find. Um, and basically gets kind of like, she gets in with like a ragtag group of people as they are trying to like outrun this like sex zombie plague.
Okay.
And ends up in just the craziest situations and is like grappling with her faith and what she has always believed about people and what she is now like, well,
Hmm.
that's not, maybe I don't believe that
Mm.
these people are bad and that this thing is wrong. And like, it certainly seems like all the bad people are the ones that I've been listening to my whole life.
Right.
Certainly
Yeah.
seems like everybody who's evil right now and trying to hurt me are like my pastor and his
Right.
followers. So it's this really kind of amazing book for people with religious trauma.
Yeah, totally.
It's
Yep.
really good. It's really good.
Into it.
I love
Definitely
her.
excited to get American Rapture. And for the record, that book is out. I
It
pre-ordered
is.
it
Yeah.
and in paperback because of the person I am. And then the only reason I don't currently have it is because Gibson's is getting it signed for me. So
It's
it
true.
is out for you to read.
It
You
is.
can read American Rapture right now.
Sure can. Yeah, it is. It is out. It's out in paperback, and she's going to be at Gibson's next month. So if you want a signed copy,
Yep.
let me know.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. She'll be here.
You got like two more for us?
Yes, this is one that I love talking about
Excellent.
because we're going with a classic in a new
Nice.
way.
Oh, okay.
Dracula Daily.
Excellent.
I love Dracula, but
Yes.
Dracula's hard to read.
It is. Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah,
It
it's a
goes from being
classic.
like really fun to like not as much to like
Yeah.
back to fun to not as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The first time I read Dracula, and I love telling people this, the first time I read Dracula, I fully missed that he had bitten someone. Just fully missed it. I
Yeah.
just didn't notice it had happened because I was
It's
like,
it's weirdly it's
it's
written
like
in
dry.
an obscure way that
Yeah.
way. Yeah. Like I think, I've said before one of my favorite things about it is that it like starts out like a travel blog, which I think is
It
very
literally,
fun. You know,
it's
and
like
then
Jonathan just talking about
yeah, it's like
all
what
the
he ate
spices
and,
he's
things like
trying.
that. And then it gets very dry, but it
Yeah.
has like then there's really exciting things like the
Yeah.
Demeter part of it and stuff like that. But yeah, it kind of, there are times when you find yourself zoning out
A
parts of the
hundred
story.
percent. And so this guy, Matt Kirkland, during the pandemic, him and I think his daughter, took Dracula, which is an epistolary novel, um, organized it all by date, meaning they took the Demeter parts and
Like
organized
put them,
them,
yeah.
put them in order within the story, and uh, broke it up into full day sections,
Mm,
and then created a Substack where on the corresponding day, it starts in like May and goes through November. On that corresponding day, you would get an email with that day's like Jonathan Harker
nice.
travelogue.
Yeah.
Like his
Perfect.
and with like a tiny bit of commentary from Matt, basically being like, today we're learning about curry, like funny things
Sure.
like that. And what happened was it blew up because
Uh-huh.
everybody was home and
Yeah, right.
reading this. And so all of a sudden the internet was like, guys, get in. We're all reading Dracula together. And they started making memes about it.
Nice.
And it became this like really hilarious, widespread internet thing. And so they took that and bound it. So it's
Awesome.
Dracula, but it's Dracula Daily, and it has memes in it
Oh,
and fan
that's
art
amazing. Oh,
and
wow. That's
commentary,
so cool.
and it's annotated, and it has the Demeter parts like
Uh-huh.
chronologically within the story, and they are dated, so you know like exactly what day you need to read
Right.
that day, and it's such a fun way to read Dracula. I
Awesome.
have done it twice through now.
Okay, nice.
I don't do it every year
Uh-huh.
because it's a lot of emails to get through.
Yeah.
But now I have the book, so now I can do it
Yes.
whenever I want.
I love that.
And it is so much fun. And if Dracula is one of those books that you're like, I should probably read Dracula, but
Right.
like I don't really like reading classics, go with Dracula Daily
Yeah.
because the internet will help you along.
Totally. I
It
love
is
that. That's great.
amazing. And then let's see, one more. I'm gonna do another kind of middle column one. Um, this is fun. Don't knock over the whole stack. There we go. All Hallows by
Well,
Christopher
that
Golden.
seems appropriate.
Exactly. This, I love Chris Golden. He's one of the nicest guys in horror. He used to write Buffy the Vampire Slayer books.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he has sent multiple pictures of my child Cordelia to Charisma Carpenter.
Oh,
Uh, my
wow.
life is weird. My life
Yeah,
is
it
weird.
is.
Um, but so he's got a ton of books. He's got a ton of horror. He's been doing this for like 40 something years.
Wow.
Um, and is just insanely prolific. But this is one of my favorites of his because it takes place during trick-or-treating.
Yes.
Um, group of kids, not unlike it. And there is a creepy monster that is hunting them down, and they have to save the town.
Amazing.
It's so much fun. The monster's pretty scary.
Nice.
The adults are not much help.
Great. Yep.
The kids are great. It's a very quick read. And like he's one of those authors where like really you should read anything he writes, but
Okay.
this
Yeah.
one just really struck a chord with me. I was like, this is so much fun. You should read it in October. It's just
Yes.
like sets the mood. There's multiple POVs. You get like different kids chapters. Like it's just a blast.
Nice.
And yeah, It's really fun. So
Into it.
yeah.
All Hallows.
I'll end with that one. But
Beautiful.
I do have like 30 other ones I could keep
Yeah,
going.
as everyone knows, if you are like if that list for some reason didn't have something that you want on it, you can always just contact Ryan directly
It's true.
and she
I'll
will
hook you up.
magically have the most perfect recommendations that you can imagine. We talk about this a lot in our, the group chat with the friends and stuff like that. Like, I just asked Ryan and she came up with this stack. And like, yeah. So if something
Yep.
there didn't tickle your fancy, or one of those, you're like, love that, read it. What next?
Yeah,
Ask Ryan directly.
absolutely.
Uh,
It's my favorite thing.
yes.
And actually, we do book bundles now at Gibson's. If you
Ooh.
go on the homepage, there's a little button of a stack of books for
Mm.
book bundles, and you can order, I think it's either you could do a hardcover bundle or a paperback bundle in
Nice.
threes or fives, and just tell me like, I liked these books. What do you got? And I'll just send you
That's amazing. I love
random
that
ones.
idea.
So you can absolutely
Genius.
do that. Happy to do it.
Well, like I said, Anna asked for some dark reads.
Yeah.
And often, if you listen to regular Joag, you know that many times the things that I talk about are inspired by some nonfiction book that I
Yeah.
just read.
Which I
So I
love.
spend a lot of time reading, if you look at like the story graph thing that says like what does this person normally read? It's like nonfiction, dark, between 250 and 350 pages or whatever. I'm like, that is my like sweet spot
Ah,
most of the time.
perfect.
And so, I've got largely a collection of books about bad things happening to people. That tends to be kind of my bread and butter when I'm not just reading straight maritime history, which there's several of those in here as well. Don't
Of
get me wrong,
course.
but maritime history in which bad things happen to people.
Yes.
The theme of kind of all of these books that I've picked out is largely everyone dies. Uh,
Oh yeah.
so the first one inspired episode 126, Toxic Miasma. And this was a book called Death in the Air, the true story of a serial killer, the Great London Smog, and the Strangling of a City by Kate Winkler Dawson.
Mm.
Now, this book tries to do the Eric Larson thing where it's like historical event, tie it with a serial killer or whatever, for the
Yeah.
excitement or whatever. The serial killer part is completely unnecessary to this. I think it seems like one of those things
Yeah.
where the publisher was like, listen, this is great and all, but like, can you make it more like Eric Larson? It's just like, okay, fine. And integrated a story that does not need to be there. But this goes into the smog, which if you listened to my, that episode on it is a fascinating story. And very much overlaps with a lot of things that, happened during COVID.
Mm.
It was this book was written 3 years before the pandemic, but you find yourself while you're reading it just going like, oh, this is always how things are handled, huh? Like
Yep.
so much overlap, but the Great London Fog, came through and ended up killing thousands of people, largely because of government incompetence, and is absolutely fascinating. So Death in the Air by Kate Winkler Dawson. Check that one out.
Amazing.
Episode 239, A Fiery Five-Year Banger, was inspired by Under a Flaming Sky, The Great Hinkley Firestorm of 1894 by Daniel James Brown. Daniel James Brown knows
Mhm.
how to write horrors that happen to humans. He also wrote The Indifferent Stars Above, the harrowing saga of the Donner Party, which inspired episode 55, Dumb Ways to Die. But Under a Flaming Sky, again, if you listen to the episode, this is what actually inspired Anna to ask about this. She said she listened to the episode twice. Hannah said she listened to it like 4 times. It was one of my favorite stories as well, and one of the most horrific. This book is like, I get into a lot of it in the episode, but basically, this is the story of a fire in the late 1800s that swept through when fire science was still sort of a burgeoning thing and people didn't totally understand why things happened. And so the confluence of this wildfire starting with like, burgeoning industry at the moment, and storm conditions that happened to come at the exact right moment meant that this firestorm blew through this series of towns and just killed everyone where they stood if they weren't able to,
Mm.
get out of the way. And in a lot of these cases, people didn't take it seriously. And so they just waited too long, which would be like a matter of minutes. A
Yeah.
train would come through, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not going to get on. It's fine." And 10 minutes later, they were incinerated. Like, just crazy
Awful.
stories. One of the most terrific things I've ever read. So, Under a Flaming Sky, Daniel James Brown,
Mm.
recommend it. And similarly, The Indifferent Stars Above, which tells the story of the Donner Party, who mostly we know as having eaten each other out of desperation by the end of this trip, but it really gets into how that happened
Mm.
and, all the ways in which this journey was doomed by their choices and things like that.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
like
God.
just
Every choice was the
every
wrong
choice
choice.
was the wrong one. And they were kind of doomed from the start by
Yeah.
basically being taken in by a grifter
Yeah.
who, sent them the wrong direction,
He was like, here's my
essentially.
map.
Here's my map. Go this way. There, you
But
can't
pay
go
me
that
money.
way.
Go this way. I'm not gonna
Right.
guide you there. You'll figure it out.
You'll be fine. Just go that way. And so from the beginning, this trip was pretty much doomed. It only gets worse as it goes along. So the
Yep.
Indifferent Stars Above tells the story of all of those
Mm.
things and is, it's a wild ride. Uh, you may have seen the movie The Perfect Storm.
Mm.
It was my husband hates this movie with a fiery passion. I had never actually seen it until probably like 6 months ago, and
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, I
Okay.
regret to inform you, Keo, I am the target audience.
Yeah. I was gonna say I loved that
It's
movie.
yeah,
I think I saw
fucking
it in
love
theaters.
this movie. Yeah. I think it came out at a time that like I just wasn't going to the movies or whatever, so it
Yeah.
just kind of passed me by. But it's based on a book by Sebastian Younger. And on this we get to know the crew of a small fishing boat called the Andrea Gale before they have the misfortune to encounter what's considered the worst storm in history. From a maritime science nerd perspective, absolutely fascinating to see how like these multiple storm systems that would have been catastrophic on their own all just converged
Mm.
to create this completely unsurvivable monster.
Yeah.
Just there was no way these
There was
people
no
were
way.
getting out of this situation. It was beyond what you could imagine. And then from a human perspective, you're seeing these interesting, flawed working class people and what their lives were like before this doomed mission. But
Mm.
spoiler alert, everyone dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone dies. This is why Keo hated it. He went to the movies to see this, and I guess kind of the way it was framed in trailers or whatever, you expect it to be kind of like heroic, like someone's going to save the day or whatever and get them out of this situation.
Oh.
That
Mm-mm.
is not what happened. And
Oh.
he hates that you spend this entire movie getting connected to these people and then they just fucking die. Um,
Oh, so he hates that it's effective.
yes, right, exactly. Like, it's like there's nothing, there's no like, there's no hope in this movie. Like, no,
Yeah.
sir, no, there isn't. Not at
I
all.
guess they could have Titanicked it and been like,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
sure,
Like, but
survivors. But like there
no, it's
weren't.
just not what happened.
No.
So
I
it
just
is what
I
it
just
is.
went to see it because I saw the big wave in the trailer and I went,
Like,
holy shit.
sold. Yeah.
Sign me up.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to read the book and go a little deeper into it, especially like how this happened, The Perfect Storm by Sebastian Younger.
We
Great
have
one.
that on a display right now
Oh, do
that
you?
one of my coworkers built a climate disaster display and that is
Ooh,
like at the center of it.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right up my alley. I love a
Yeah.
climate disaster. I mean,
I'll
I
take a
don't love a
picture of it
climate
next time I'm
disaster,
in and
but
I'll send it to you.
please do, because I'm sure there's a lot of things I'd love to read on that
Probably.
shelf. This is kind of where Mark and I diverge in like our reading things because sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I just read this book, you might like it." He's like, "Is it going to make me feel depressed about the climate and like me and my children have no future?" And I'm like, Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. It's like, don't send me those. I don't want to know about
Oh,
those. JK.
sorry, Marco.
Um, on a similar note, Into the Raging Sea, 33 Mariners, One Megastorm, and the Sinking of the El Faro by Rachel Slade.
Mm.
Um, it recounts, as the subtitle suggests, the sinking of the El Faro during Hurricane Joaquin. And just like the perfect storm, everybody dies. Just nobody makes it out
Womp
of
womp.
this story. But there were actually 26 hours of audio recordings of the crew leading up to the sinking that were
Oh
all
shit.
captured. Yeah, right? You don't get that a lot. Like, you don't have that with the
No.
perfect storm. You kind of have to, like, guess what was
Yeah.
going on, based on what radio transmissions they had before and, what it seems like happened on there. But yeah, with the El Faro, you have all of this that the author is actually able to sift through. So you get these insights into exactly what happened and all the choices and mistakes and everything, which, includes, as many of these stories do, and which is fascinating to read, this sort of the captain just making increasingly insane decisions
Mm.
that the crew is going along with, but ultimately is leading them to their doom, right? And you're
Yeah.
just sitting there like, the fuck, dude? Like, are you
Don't do
serious right
that.
now? That's a bad idea. um, so, Into the Raging Sea by Rachel Slade is another sort of maritime disaster that kind of gets into how this happened, but with incredible audio footage
That's
of the
so
whole
cool.
thing. Yeah, really recommend that one. I just read that a couple months ago and was, yeah, floored by it. Kind of a classic, Into Thin Air by John
Oh,
Krakauer.
yep.
Another guy who knows how to write devastating things happening to people.
Yeah.
He wrote Into the Wild about Christopher McCandless. He wrote Missoula about those rape cases at the college campus like a decade ago. He's real good at writing about bad things
Yeah.
happening. The movie Everest is based on this, and I often call Everest a comfort movie. But almost everybody dies. Everybody doesn't die, but almost everybody dies. And it is about the 1996 expedition up Everest, which famously went terribly wrong. If you know anything about Everest, you have a very short window of when you can get up that. And if anything delays you or anything like that, you kind of have to be like, okay, fuck it, we bounce. Like, like you cannot do it. You have often one day that
Mm-hmm.
the weather is right and all of that stuff, and you can go and do it. And you have to be ready to like hop up that mountain in that time. And if you don't make those exact windows, you're doomed. And that's what happened here is they didn't make the window because of various again choices and just mistakes that were made along the way, people choosing not to use oxygen to go up, various things, and a storm comes in and catches them while they're still on the mountain. So it gives a good sort of picture history of like people doing this in general, the famous bodies all over Mount Everest that have been there for ages, some of which are not anymore, either because they've been removed or because climate change took them away. So some of them have just like
Yeah.
straight, it melted and they fell off the mountain, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's a fascinating read about, this expedition because actually John Krakauer was on it. He was
That's
there
right. Oh God,
writing
I
for
forgot.
Outside Magazine. So he experienced this whole thing. He didn't make it to the summit, and he did survive this incident. But yeah, inside view of what happened on Everest in Into Thin Air by John Krakauer.
Mm.
Another one, there's an HBO documentary called Six Schizophrenic Brothers. Don't watch it.
Okay.
It's the most exploitative documentary I've ever seen. And in fact, I like looked it up afterwards and uh like one of the sisters of the subjects of this has like come out against it, which as soon as I started watching this, I was like, oh, everyone involved in this must hate this.
Oh,
So I was like partway through the first episode and I was like, the fuck? And I Googled and was like, is there a book about this?
nice.
There is. It's called Hidden Valley Road Inside the Mind of an American Family by Robert Kolker. And It is about a family that had a dozen kids, and six of those kids, all boys, were diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Oh,
Yeah.
balls.
Very unusual situation,
Jesus.
obviously. And thus it sort of allowed researchers to sort of peer into like the genetic and environmental factors that contribute to schizophrenia. So this family ended up being like really important to our knowledge of
Mhm.
schizophrenia because they allowed for this institute to study them. But the story itself of this family is tragic. I think, four of the six boys with schizophrenia are dead
Oof.
by this point.
Yeah.
In some very terrible ways, including like a family annihilation situation and stuff like
Oh
that. Yeah,
no.
straight up. So there's
Woof.
a lot going on in this book, but it is absolutely fascinating and a really empathetic read. It's not kind of taking it like the HBO documentary comes at it from like a really like salacious angle,
Yeah.
and makes these brothers feel like not like schizophrenics, but like sociopaths, make them feel like
Oh,
monsters.
no.
And the book Hidden Valley Road does not take that approach at all. It really empathizes with this family and talks about what they went through. So big time recommend that one. A couple books about horror that
Mhm.
people might want to read while they're,
Heck
it might give
yeah.
some ideas of watches that you might want to do during the month of October. The Black Guy Dies First, Black Horror Cinema from Fodder to Oscar by Robin R. Means Coleman and Mark H. Harris. This book, it's a little repetitive. I will say that out the gate. It does kind of reference the same things a lot throughout it, but it gives this history of, how black people have appeared in horror from the beginning of cinema to, basically I think when this came out it was shortly after Get Out. So basically up to and now we're winning, awards for this shit, right? So it's a really cool just kind of journey through and it gives you like I know when I read it I was like writing down names of movies because it's a real like a whole history
Mhm.
of black people in horror. Kind of similar stuff also that you get from the horror noir
Yeah.
documentary on Shudder. But so
Mhm.
that's The Black Guy Dies First. That's the name of that movie. And then Nightmare Fuel: The Science of Horror Films by Nina Nesseth. I don't remember if you. I think you might have suggested this to me.
Yeah,
I
well,
want to
I
say.
did a virtual event with
Okay.
her
Nice.
for Gibson's, and she's a doll.
Yeah, and it's a just a great little book. We talk a lot on Joag trying to like sort of parse like why do we like this stuff? What do we get out of watching horror movies? And she gives some answers to
Yeah.
that using neuroscience, which is I think a thing that appeals to a lot of Joag listeners. So,
Yeah.
Nightmare Fuel: The
I
Science of
love that
Horror
book.
Films. Yeah, definitely check that one out. It's a real fun read for horror fans.
I will also say
Mm.
on that same note, for those of us who have partners who maybe don't do horror
Mm. Mhm.
and are maybe too scared to watch horror with us, Horror for Weenies by Emily C.
Oh,
Ewing
right. Yes.
is awesome.
Yeah, I've wanted
She's
to check that
so
one out.
funny. And she goes through like I don't even remember how many movies are in the book, but it's a chunky little guy. Um and she goes through all of these like classic and modern horror movies. She gives a little thing at the top that's sort of like why you should watch this, maybe why you shouldn't watch this,
Yeah.
like some, like a little like one sentence summary, and then she goes through like beat by beat and like tells the story
Oh,
of the
wow.
movie,
Okay.
which is
Nice.
awesome,
Hmm.
including all spoilers and everything, tells you how it ends. And then at the end, she does like things to say at parties about this movie, and like
Oh,
it'll have
that's
like fun
good. I
facts.
love that.
It's so funny, but it's like I genuinely love just having it up at the register when I'm
Hmm.
working, and I will just open up to like a movie that I love. Like I'll open it up to like
Yeah.
The
See
Ring
what
and
it
just like
says about it.
read The Ring. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
love that. Yeah.
but I have given this to people I love who do not watch horror, and I'll be like, this way you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like we can at least connect here.
Yeah. So
I love that. So
big
horror for Weenie
recommend.
is added to the books about horror.
Yep.
And then just from Mark, a couple of suggestions. Like I said, The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. fucking read it. We have
Hell
gone
yeah.
through this at length and talked about it. So you have to check that one out. That's required reading. And it's ghosty, so perfect for this season. Another one also I think great for this season he recommended is Tender is the Flesh by Agostina Basterrica. Great
Love that book.
one. In this, animals are infected with a virus that makes them toxic to humans, requiring them all to be slaughtered. And as a result, the consumption of humans becomes standard practice to the point of becoming industrialized. Boy,
It's so good.
it's so good. You got to read Tender as the Flesh. Big time. Validate that. And it's a pretty short one too.
Yeah.
It's a pretty quick read and gory and yeah, loved it. And then his other one, his nonfiction recommendation was In Plain Sight, The Life and Lies of Jimmy Savile by Dan Davis. If you know anything about Jimmy Savile, I mean, just content warnings all over the place. The guy was a very prolific sexual predator who did this under the cover of being basically the most beloved public figure in Britain, which meant that everyone was covering for him from the BBC to royalty. So it's not a feel-good read, as none of these nonfiction ones were.
No.
But that was his recommendation, In Plain Sight by Dan Davis, if you're looking for that kind of dark this
Incredible.
spooky season. So, Brian, thank you so much for sharing all of those. Like I said, the whole list will be on the blog with this so that you can, check all of these out for yourself and you didn't have to memorize everything that we said here. You can go through the list and find them and then, of course, buy them from Gibson's bookstore, which is what I always do. And it has worked out nicely for me to this point. I think every now and again I tally how much money I have spent at Gibson's over the past 5 years, and it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars at this point, but it is my go-to place to get my books. So check all that stuff. And of course, the library is good as well.
Hell yeah. Make sure you have a library card, especially now.
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
important.
You got to.
You have to help fund your libraries. Like,
Mhm.
please get a library card.
Mhm.
They have so much cool shit there.
Yeah,
Guys, it's not
ridiculous.
just books.
Yeah,
Talk to
it's
Anna.
everything. Yes.
Oh my God. They have so much. My tiny, tiny, tiny ass little library on the corner at the end of my street has like a movie section and a telescope you can rent and like
Yes.
dig kits for kids and like so much cool shit. You
Exactly.
guys, your library has so much more than you realize.
Yeah,
Go
it
get a
has
library
more
card.
there than it did when you were 7.
Yeah.
So if in your adult life you don't go to the library,
Yeah. Change that.
fix it. Fix it.
And fund PBS.
And fund PBS as well. I just put a blog up about all my favorite things that I like to watch on
Awesome.
PBS. So
Amazing.
thank you again, Ryan. Listen to the Lay Down podcast if you love hearing more about books and hearing from authors, because you guys get everybody on there and it is wonderful. Ryan, where on the socials would be best for them to find you if they need more recs or just want to see your book content?
That's a great question. I'm all over the Gibson's bookstore social media.
Yes.
Google us. We're everywhere.
It's a good point.
Instagram, TikTok, all of it. You'll see my face more than you want to. My page on Gibson's is just gibsonsbookstore.com/Ryan. That'll
Nice.
get you.
And you'll find most of these recs there.
They're all there. they're all on there. And then personal Instagram is Rye in Wonderland, and that also has
Beautiful.
book recs and cute kids and sometimes a dog.
It's true. Yes, all of this is true. So check all of that out. And dear friends, until next time, stay extra spooky.
Stay extra spooky. It's spooky season.
It's spooky season. Get out there.
Spooky.